concert? What
Friday.
is it? Huh?
At Wingate.
What is it? Who is it?
It's from Dr. Martin Luther King.
Shanduke McFadder is doing what he does best, encouraging young people to think for themselves and avoid the violence that far too often plagues their community. But he's more than just a concerned citizen. McFadder, founder of the nonprofit GMAC, was once the perpetrator of that very violence and wound up cycling through the prison system for nearly 15 years before making a change.
There was never a program that I felt dealt with the issues that I was dealing with that was sending me back and forth to the system. So GMAC was formed when I was sitting in a cell, and I said, what can I do to help those like myself, especially our young people, to not be sitting in a cell like I was at that time.
GMAC, or Gangsters Making Astronomical Community Changes, receives funding from New York City's crisis management system. And the organization deals specifically with individuals at high risk for getting caught up in violence. Those who have been involved in a shooting, have been incarcerated or have family who are incarcerated, and those who are gang affiliated.
Those are the ones who have the leadership in society, because there's a level of respect and reputation by being violent or being part of these organizations. So the best way to change the norm in our community is deal with those who have that voice and that experience.
There are many organizations whose mission is to stop gun violence, but there's something that makes GMAC different.
But we all come from life, from carrying guns, selling drugs, being violent, and that really helps us stand out. And we also have cut the barriers, the ties of Bloods and Crips, where it says that you can't work together. So we've brought in people who come from both sides of those fields and other fields to do the work that we do.
The street background of GMAC's leadership has made connecting with at-risk youth much easier, says Shamar Thomas. The former Blood gang member and Marine is also a Black Lives Matter activist and an outreach worker in GMAC, whose job it is to mentor youth in schools and in prisons.
The kids that see us now, once they see us, in the streets doing what we do, it's kind of like, it makes it cool for them. So like the GMAC kids that we have now, every day I watch them and they're hitting the streets and they're like enthusiastic.
Youth involved in GMAC do things like hand out pub ed or public education pamphlets about violence to community residents. They also participate in shooting response events. Whenever a shooting takes place in East Flatbush or nearby locations, a GMAC violence interrupter goes to the site to see what can be done to de-escalate the situation and avoid retaliation. Teens can accompany a violence interrupter during these actions. 17-year-old Michael Harris recently went on his first shooting response.
It affected me because, like, when we went there, it was like grown-ups playing dice and the yellow tape, and that just showed me that how some people really don't care about what's going on in the community, and then if we don't help, more than likely nobody else is gonna. I feel like we give people hope, like oh, somebody out there that care about our family that's here for us.
Concern for the community is exactly what McFadder wants to foster among youth and adults.
It takes the community to respond, to show those around them that regardless of who is shot or why they're shot, that it's not a norm in other communities, so it shouldn't be a norm in ours. It doesn't only take for a police to kill someone for us to respond and show our need to help the community.
Police should be the first line of defense when residents face a violent situation, but unfortunately, as the Black Lives Matter movement has shown, police and the black community are sometimes at odds. This is why Thomas says GMAC's role is so important.
We want to be that buffer. We want to, be that outlet for the young people to actually come talk to us, all people, to come talk to us and not feel like it's going to be police involved, because at the end of the day, people, being dead and in jail, the system keeps, it's a revolving door. I feel like we can be that buffer that stops it. So.
But to really strike at the heart of gun violence, McFadder believes you have to address the mental aspect of what makes people violent to begin with.
The young people know how to deal with their violence in one way because they're only taught one way. Society doesn't teach you how to mediate. Society only teaches you how to instigate. The peers only know how to instigate.
He points to himself as an example.
It was simple for me when I get angry to want to beat somebody up, right? And then I felt better, right? And that's what our people deal with today. I speak to young people about it all the time. They feel so much better after they release the anger. That's the problem. So I had to realize that, like, okay, what other way can I deal with my anger? I started first by exercising more, listening to different type of music that wouldn't feed that desire, right? That wouldn't tell me it's okay. So it came from that, understanding first, saying, okay, what do I need to do different?
The result is a comprehensive program that teaches youth how to deal with their anger in nonviolent ways and also gives them other resources they need, including job training, GED assistance, jobs, and mental health help. Studies show, including one done by Northeastern University, that teens who have nothing to occupy their time when school is out are far more likely to become victims or perpetrators of violence. That's why GMAC and organizations it partners with, like East Flatbush Village, have programs to make sure that kids not only avoid violence, but have fun too.
Well, today we have a 6-week anti-violence basketball tournament free until the playground. In the summer, when kids do not have a program to go to, they hang out in the park. When you hang out in the park, different elements can come in the park. So what East Flatbush Village and High Profile decided to do is we basically occupy the park for 7 days a week, 6 weeks straight, and then we make sure that we're here so nothing else happens.
Like GMAC, East Flatbush Village is also working aggressively to give youth alternatives to violence. Each group has something unique to offer.
So East Flatbush Village did a DOE component, where we did it after school, we did swimming, and we did martial arts with the kids and mentorship, and we had a psychotherapist and did all that. And then it partners with GMAC, so they're working out with GMAC. It's different strokes for different folks, so some kids may need this, some kids may need that. So between GMAC and East Flatbush Village and the other community organization we have, the kids will have a right fit.
GMAC's combination of recreational activities as well as programs to help teens deal with the emotional and psychological stresses they face seem to be working. Some teens come to GMAC for guidance while facing the possibility of serious criminal charges. Others, like 15-year-old Tashay Alvarenga, who's been involved in GMAC since last November, come for the support they receive from their mentors.
I feel like over the months, we felt like I built a bond with her, and like she understands me, and it's easy for me to talk to her. And one thing she always does is keep it real with me. Like she'll tell me like what it is, like, and she always helps me get through like my problems and stuff.
Harris is also experiencing positive transformation through GMAC.
I think I improved from before. Like before, I was horrible, but now I feel like I calmed down. Like I think about the outcome, like what's gonna happen if I do this, what's gonna happen, how my family gonna be affected, and stuff like that.
To date, there have been 31 shooting incidents in the 67th precinct, which includes East Flatbush. That's 7 less shootings than at this time last year, but there is still plenty of work to do to get to zero. Shanduk and his team don't expect to change the world overnight, but are confident that they are laying the foundation for the next generation to create a far less violent community and world.
If you can change the mind of 1 to 5 people, then you have success, right? If they're not violent anymore and they are doing things positive to help others, then you have the successes. So we're good with one by one by one by one, changing the minds of those around us.
Reporting from East Flatbush, Kizzy Cox for City Limits.